Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some more RahXephon. And once again, thank you to RahXephon for sponsoring this episode. Thanks for following us on the Patreon and supporting us. We appreciate it. We got a comment here from Vale Fisher who says, true. Wings around the heads have been depicted in mythology and art for a long time. I just have a wishful thinking for a possible reference because Devilman creator, Go Nagai, also created Mazinger Z, one of the earliest Japanese super robots, and apparently the first one to be piloted. So I guess that's an interesting through line here, as like a reference. I don't see why it can't be true.
I was going to make an argument, but I can't think of the thing's fucking name, which was the name of the show. No, it's I think it is the earliest giant robot. Not Mazinger. The one I'm trying to remember. It's going to be a real kick in the pants if it turns out to be Mazinger. But it's the one where a kid has like a little radio with a button on it, and he just calls out to it, and it like activates and flies to him. It's a black and white one. It has like wings on the side, but it's obviously a giant robot. I think giant robot is literally in the name, but I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
Right. That would just require a tiny bit of research there.
Well, I remember the opening. That's like what's coming to my head, but otherwise, I think my argument there would be the fact that the kid has to command it via radio. That's technically piloting, if you think about it.
Piloting is usually assuming that you have direct control of it, that you're not giving it orders to do.
That's what I'm saying. You're telling it what to do over the radio. I mean, it's no different than saying that a Digi-Destined is piloting a...
Pokemon Theory, are you piloting Charizard? Let's discuss.
I mean, technically, you can jump on Charizard's back and tell him what to do. I mean, do you pilot a horse?
I think most people will say, no, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, you're clearly directing the horse. You're riding the horse. At what point is the combination of these things not the same as piloting the horse?
Right.
You pilot a boat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right, so
true.
Piloting just doesn't mean being in the air or anything. It's a matter of directive. How hard, or I guess how fully you're in control of directing a thing. So
I would generally say if you are the primary source of motivation for your vehicle, you are piloting it.
So do you say that the flying creatures of Avatar are being piloted?
They are creatures flying on their own motivation.
Are they? Or
so they're being ridden.
Do you literally have to connect your brain tendril to their brain tendril?
That's just a form of communication.
But you're literally tied to them.
They aren't dumb until they activate.
So you're saying they get dumber when they're alive?
Probably. Anyway, so at least wings on the head are still stylistically appropriate for RahXephon at this point, given its the way everything else looks, right? It still fits in very nicely with the rest of the artistry happening. So I've never had a question for it at the very least.
Well, it's something we said a month ago, so it's really hard to remember with no context, other than apparently what we said was true.
So I think with that said, I think it's up to me to discuss what happened last time real quick, and, well, what may or may not happen this time, because I don't remember what's supposed to happen this time.
Well, here's hoping you don't cheat.
Ah, that's where I got you. I cheated 30 minutes ago. But last time was when our commander decided to take a day off to discuss his dead daughter with his wife and have basically a tragic moment about it. That is the simplest, shortest explanation of the entire ordeal, but I believe it was basically they dropped a bomb which ended up killing his daughter, and it may have been his fault directly, or he blames himself, or it just happened.
Good, just go through all the possibilities.
I'm not certain, because I feel like when we were watching it, I was like, he blames himself entirely for dropping that bomb. He's the one who did it.
There was literally a scene, Griff, of his commanding officer telling him to do it.
Yes, exactly. See, and then I read the last time on,
Which you
and
shouldn't
it
do.
uses neutral language, right? It's not like he killed him. It's just like person happened to have died while thing happened. So neutral language is not always the best way to write something. So,
It
yeah.
is if there's a building mystery that you're trying not to give shit away for.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure dropping nukes on Japan has absolutely no relevance to anyone who was writing this or how they feel about things. Definitely not. It's always funny talking about when the Japanese decide to portray another nuke being dropped on Japan, right?
Sure.
Who else has the most
Absolutely
experience in the
hilarious.
world about this?
The citizens of Bikini Atoll.
Well, at least they didn't get it dropped directly on top of them.
No, but they were fairly close.
Continually irradiated. Nukes are bad, everyone. Just in case you didn't know that.
Oh, depending on their use.
Right. But last time I would probably say is enough of an encapsulated episode just around one character and their trauma that it doesn't necessarily figure into anything else. It was a good standalone piece of tragedy.
So you say.
So I say anyway. I guess because the perspective I currently have right now that I've been thinking about all morning is we're on a pretty episodic set of episodes right now. I feel like we have a status quo situation. Ayato's at the base, he's hanging out, and occasionally something happens where he has to suit up and fight something. That is a perfectly ordinary setup for any kind of show. And I'm just sitting here thinking, shouldn't there be more of a meta plot? Like, I'm spoiled now in the year 2023. Like, is it 30 years since this came out?
No. No. It has not been 30 years.
2002. 2002
I know, I've literally said many times I've seen this 21 years ago. And you're like, 30 years ago? Yeah, I am.
Dad, are you as old as dinosaurs? But yeah, no, I'm spoiled here in the year 2023, where I've had so many anime with incredibly consistent narrative plot lines that carry episode to episode, rather than like the episodic stuff that I used to grow up on literally every other piece of media.
Griff, the thing here is that there is a meta plot happening, and it's happening episode to episode. You're just not noticing it. So, the idea is that if you were to, like, draw the meta plot line, there would be a bunch of them, and some of them might skip an episode and then appear in the next one. Some of them might pass all the way through every episode. I keep telling you, you're just not noticing shit yet. I'm reminding you that there's stuff that you're not noticing, and you're still not catching up to it.
And we still have like another 16 episodes to go before I catch up to.
Hell, I think we did the whole aside thing where you took your headset off and I talked to the audience about one of the, I think is the major one. It might not be so important to the story of the show, but it's one of the connective tissues that I always find important in a show that I talked to the audience about. Well, you wouldn't know. You hopefully didn't go back and watch the episode to figure out what I said. So
now that would be cheating.
Well, that's also something you tend not to do. Watch our own content. So I feel pretty safe.
So I guess with that, this episode is called Nightmare. So I can only imagine someone's going to have a nightmare. It's going to involve a lot of people asleep at night.
Or it's about a dark horse.
Yes, horses on their tiny little military base. Actually, no, this show would totally do that. It would absolutely say, we just happen to have like a horse ranch here too.
Are you saying that you think this show is beyond multi-level metaphors? That nightmare might mean a dark horse, and a dark horse could just refer to a very specific person?
That's also a possibility. I'll go ahead and keep my eye out here for people who are important and are apparently down on their luck and not likely to win.
There's a lot of people already in the show.
That's the entire island. So, I think with that, let's go ahead and watch. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below, join the Discord, get in the discussion. Let's see how much stuff you missed in the intro this time.
We still got our clocks. Actually, we haven't featured clocks in the show quite so much as we have it in the intro, have we? Not in a while.
We haven't directly looked at one.
I need my visual metaphors, like the world being destroyed there.
What world being destroyed? The telltale of paying attention is silence.
Yeah, I'm just like, hyper-focus. Focus. What am I missing here? What is the conspiracy? What's the doll have to do with this?
It's the doll.
There it is, where we're just back in hell again. We gotta go to hell eventually. I mean...
I've been saying it enough times, Griff.
Look, as Fail Fisher pointed out, Devilman had wings on the head. This has wings on the head. We're going to hell, like Devilman. Clock hell. Computer virus. Yeah, that's a good reason to scream. Good in media res, though.
How would you explain that for the audience, Griff? No, you're just gonna laugh at them.
Yeah, I laugh at Hayato's pain. A lot is happening very fast. See, they just want to give RahXephon a hug. And he's been kidnapped.
I mean, he already was.
Well, a second time. He's been kidnapped from his kidnapping.
He's not asleep. What are you talking about? Yeah, so Nightmare as worst possible scenario, nuclear reactor melting down, and they lost the RahXephon. Yeah, I can vibe with that as an episode name now. But what if he's just a dark horse? Kyoja circuit. I'm sure pronounced badly.
It's okay, he's just going shopping. Nothing is wrong or weird here at all.
You remember these two, don't you?
Not at all, actually.
From the first episode. They're literally in our thumbnail, Griff.
Yeah, well, I haven't thought about him for a while.
Remember, one of them got really hurt in the train wreck.
Hasn't really thought of his friends in 10 episodes. Oh, they're playing VR.
Yeah, nothing says shooting a gun like this motion.
First fighter, huh? Even Snacks can't bring up his mood.
いや俺、兄今どこいんの？俺らまだ吉祥寺だけど。マジかよ。そっちで適当にやってりゃいいじゃん。ダメ？マジダメ？
So, Ayato, when are you gonna actually say anything to anyone about this?
But he's right there.
このままがいい。口にソースがついてるよ。きれいにしてあげる。
Girls, the real enemy.
Look, with a pickup line like that, alright? Ah, that nighted penguin-fringed abyss. What does the penguin mean, Theta? What is the deeper meaning?
Not about balloons explode all the time.
So we have definitely entered just straight up abstraction territory. We're probably here to stay.
Have we?
Well, we might actually be getting something concrete now with the conversation.
2028年じゃないんですか？大体なんで戻ってきてるんだ？僕。
飲んだら？飲みたかったんでしょ？コーヒー。美味しいのよ、ここの。
Gosh, it's even worse than when he was back at Tokyo Jupiter. No one's listening to him anymore.
夢なんだよね。僕がここにいるはずないもの。でもここは僕が知ってる。僕がいた東京と何も変わらない。朝比奈や守たちといつものように一緒に遊んで。
向こうの方が夢のよう。
そんなはずない。ないはずなんだけど。でもこのコーヒーの色も香りも本物としか思えないし。
だったらいいじゃない。自分は蝶の夢を見てる。
Like Christian imagery on the wall for Japan.
そんなことどうでもいいことだわ。あなたが感じることが本当。
Ah, yes, the sight that I wanted.
ここは本当の世界なんじゃない？
Ah, yes, the classical argument. Just trust your senses, bro.
そうよ。幸せなことじゃない。もう戦って痛い思いをすることもない。 何かを我慢することもない。ここはあなたが感じるあなたの世界。
The world that you feel has the most scattered jazz playing. Just listen to that piano.
無理しなくていい。
You mean that record?
男らしくすれば。年上だからって関係ない。我慢なんてしてはダメ。したいことするんでしょ。 自分の思うままにするんでしょ。違う。
僕は無理なんかしてない。我慢なんかしてない。僕は
嘘つき。自分にそう言い聞かせてるのね。でもみんなは知ってるのよ。だってどんなに隠したってあなたが望んでいることだもの。もういいじゃない。
Teenager, you are not as adept at hiding your emotions as you think. That
Also-
is every teenager's nightmare.
Also, I appreciate how you start mocking the amount of clocks that we do or don't see in the show, and here's an episode filled with clocks.
Yeah, we paid it off. We're getting 10 episodes of clock right now.
あなたは何をしたいの？
No, I just mean you're the only one doubting the clocks.
答えて。
もう帰ろう。もう帰りたい。
Love the billboard that just says cold.
So he's definitely struggling to keep his mind together here.
次は石神井公園前。次は石神井公園前でございます。どなた様もお忘れ物ないようご注意ください。バスの走行中の座席の移動は大変危険ですのでご遠慮ください。次は石神井公園前。
That's a familiar motif.
Stand at the bus stop.
Nope. Imagery that you clearly didn't pay attention to.
Missed it for half a second, I guess.
Yeah.
おかえり。
ただいま。
I don't remember that being what his mother looked like. Maybe just because she's not in, like, the lab codes.
I mean, it's been 9 episodes since you saw her. Which is tantamount to almost 9 months. So.
ごちゃごちゃ考えたくない。
久しぶりに作ったから勘鈍ってるかも。味濃すぎだった？
うん。
飼育係の大藪さんの話によりますと、将来的には飲み終わったジュースの缶を片付けることができるようになるか試してみたいとのこと。動物社会に
母さん。
The TV playing the moralism of recycling.
まあ、それはさておき。綾人君、神名綾人君、聞こえていますか？神名綾人君、聞こえていたら返事をしなさい。声を出してください。あなたが今どういう状態にあるのかこちらではわかりません。
Ah, there we go. The real world seeping in.
こちらに生存を伝えてください。
Mode C?
あなたはこちらに帰ってくることができません。神名綾人君、あなた戻らないと大変になる。
Ah, and of course his usual dream girl interrupting the imagery too.
近頃電波が悪い。
Dream girl that other people have seen and reacted to.
Yeah.
Constantly going on about this theory that's proving more and more to be untrue.
Look, whether she's a dream girl or not, she's obviously a psychic teleporter who's continually just messing with Ayato.
隼人か？おい、さっきどうしたよ。
え？
勝手に黙って帰りやがって。ヒロコも心配してたぞ。
ああ、ごめん。
まあ、いいけどよ。
I feel like this is also just still reflective of how lame his life was.
I mean, lame. He
Yeah,
was hanging out with his friends. He went home. What's lame?
Just being a boring, depressed teenager.
ここがいいんだ。
Get an adult, try to
ここが僕
force him to have sex with her.
ここにいるべきなんだ。
You know,
怖い
as
思いも
happens.
しない。痛い思いもしない。火だって使わなくていい。これでいいんだ。そうなんだろう。
Ah, yes, the classic 2002 version of This Is Fine.
ざけんな。ざけんな。ざけんな。
the books are blank. Alright. So there's a limit here.
ざけんな。
あやと
What is she doing this time?
何やってるんだクオン。しっかりしろ。クオン、クオン、クオン。
One more time and you would have reached her.
5時間か
Yeah, it takes 4 times to reach out to someone.
アクティブとネガティブを行ったり来たり。もうほとんどネガティブだけど。
メグまだ諦めちゃダメだよ
でもあいつ、こんなに呼びかけてるのに。あいつ、ハヤト、応答して。ハヤト、返事して。ダメだ。全然答えない。
呼び続けるのこちらの声を聞かせ続けるの
お姉ちゃん。
絶対に諦めな
私を見つけて、あやと。
It's interesting seeing this sort of like reach out to the coma patient kind of plot, but at radio distance.
母さん。
そう、お母さんの言うことは聞くものよ。そうでしょ。あなたはラーゼフォンの正当なる奏者。そう生まれたの。奏者は譜面に忠実でこそその進化が発揮されるのよ。インプロビゼーションなんてあなたにはまだ早すぎる。わかるでしょ。あなたはまだラーゼフォンを
Ah, yes.
きちんと
The musical motif the show is based upon.
でも無理もないわ。
It's just being explained outright. Thanks, show.
ばかりだったもの。
Oh, not really. There's so many layers that hasn't been explained yet.
ここならあなたは安心できる。普通の生活もラーゼフォンの奏者としての生活もできる。あなたを産んだ私のそばにいるの。いいわね。母親にしていいことかしら。
いいわけないじゃないか。
どうして私はアヤトがしたいことを何でもしてあげたじゃない。私はあなたを思って。
嘘だ。確かに母さんは何でもしてくれた。
Oh, looks like those two got raptured.
でも反対しなかった。でもそばにいてほしいとき、
Brought to you by
本当にい
Legos.
てほしいときに、母さんはいつもいなかったじゃないか。
アヤト、私はあなたのために働いていたのよ。あなたを思って。
来るな。
なぜどうして私の言うことを聞いてくれないの。
When you try to impersonate someone's mother through their dreams and you don't realize the amount of baggage you brought to the table.
あなたは私の息子なのに。
どうすればいい。どこに行けばいい。
Take on
君
me.
なんだろう。
He's only just now entering the music video.
.やっぱり君だったのか。
やっと会えたね。
僕は帰りたい。本当の世界に。
本当の世界？さあ、それはどうかな。
本当じゃなくたっていい。本当じゃなくていい。だってここは気持ちが悪いんだ。リアルじゃないんだ。何かがまとわりつく感じがしてイライラするんだ。ここは僕が望んだ世界なのかもしれない。でもこんな世界は嫌だ。ここに僕はいない。僕が生きている時間がないんだ。
Very much people thinking bad about the real world anyway.
黙って。
だって
It gotta really suck that the world that you want is actually the world you hate.
現実が待っているかもしれないわ。
それを受け止める覚悟があるんだったら。
Oh. Oh. Oh.
This is the stick that was up your ass. I pulled it out from your mouth.
Oh, good. Finally, Aido's gonna lighten up. Oh, pulled out a whole mech from there.
あなたが自分で出ていくの。自分の意志で。
I feel like I understand even less about her now.
The curtain raises.
ありがとう三島。
Ah, there we go. We popped the balloon animal.
Well, I told you, balloons just pop sometimes. Also, remember these things are fucking giant. So.
Oh, yeah. Nice and quick end to the fight. So how much wrap-up are we gonna get on this? What's he gonna say to anyone about this?
It's also one of those scenes that if you really wanted to think, you'd be like, did we ever really get off the holodeck?
We did get a Hands of Change scene, though. And then we just end. We just end.
Well, Griff, what'd you pull?
At least on the basic level, it's Ayato going over, like, his will to actually go through all of this, like, putting aside, like, whatever ideal thing he wanted, which was to go back home, so that he can actually focus on, like, the things he has now, and actually, you know, fight and protect all that. Makes sense. That's like the very basic read of the episode, right? It's Ayato confidently asserting his motivation, and thus winning. The deeper one here? What the hell's happening, man?
I mean, I'm saying that meta plot occurred here too. Did you not pull any of the strings?
Like, alright, so we had the Dolem there, literally saying as the mother, it's like, yeah, no, we totally created you for this, you're just supposed to be piloting that thing anyway, that's why you're here. And that makes sense, we already kind of got that, right? Also, I keep expecting the song to end. Keeps tricking me.
It will. Eventually.
It will eventually, yeah. See what happens.
その果てに見えし者ラーゼフォン第12楽章黒い卵世は音に満ちて
So, okay, that's a lot of stuff. We got the architect from the Matrix there, apparently.
Or was he Shinji's dad?
Yeah. We are also apparently getting Quan a giant robot, so that's cool. They're probably gonna have to break it, though. Not a lot I can draw out from that, but, So, Theta, remind me again. Proper name of our yellow dress girl.
Oh, Mishima?
Mishima. So, I have been thinking for a while, alright, Mishima is, like, sort of maybe representing a bit of a threat to everybody. Like, she's manipulating Ayato in some way. She's luring him into doing certain things. Maybe she's part of the RahXephon, maybe she's not. It's hard to tell where she actually lies, though I think this episode at least fully confirms she is at least on Ayato's side, whatever he does. But what's her actual objective? I feel like she has some purpose beyond just helping out Ayato, but I'm not sure what her final goal or plan is yet still. She apparently doesn't want him on the side of the Mu being controlled, piloting the RahXephon for them for whatever reason. She hasn't actually done anything to any of the Earthling side, though.
The Earthling
When
side.
when I say it out loud, I'm just like, what is the worst that she's done to everyone else other than just kind of gaslight them about her existence?
How do you gaslight somebody about your existence? Wouldn't the
I
act
wasn't
of,
real. I was never here all along.
wouldn't the act of being able to gaslight somebody about your existence prove that you exist?
That's our catch-22 here on this. She's been playing mysterious, not interacting with any of the actual staff, but she's still there kind of doing things.
Except the ones that have seen her and referred to her by name as well.
Oh, what's her end goal? What part does she actually play outside of Ayato's slight mentorship, I guess? Or double half?
So she's the only meta plot that you could pull from this episode.
What else do I draw here? What should I be focusing on? Draw my attention to something.
Unfortunately, the meta plot is so very specific that I don't feel like I can do that reliably without like just spoiling the reveals.
I know, but like, what? There's so much like random imagery in this one because it is an abstract dreamscape that to pull something out precisely is just kind of random. I got a bag of things I can pull out. I can pull out like the Christian imagery that turns and like starts doing things. I could pull out the penguin popping again. That we're going to go to Antarctica Theta. We're gonna see more penguins. The penguins were responsible for this all along.
I don't think that the imagery was all that random if you consider everything that happened in the episode, or at least the imagery that matters isn't all that random, given... I mean, like, if you treated the episode by itself, like, if it wasn't connected to anything else, or, I guess, even better, if you followed the meta plot and were looking at everything that you've seen before and how it relates.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking just about the imagery, that you should be able to at least name a couple of things that were really important that we saw.
I feel like, though, like, the most important thing is, like, the one I pointed out already, which was just Ayato's mother going on about, like, Ayato's purpose and their relationship, and it's like, yeah, I'm always thinking about you, giving you all these things so that you'll go ahead and pilot the RahXephon for us. That seems like the most concrete piece of anything in the episode, right?
For you, maybe. I mean, Ayato's mother is clearly an important plot point, but I don't know. It's not so much in this moment for me that important. Yeah. There are other things in this episode that carry from previous episodes that were more important that you never seem to focus on.
The little details that all keep building up, right?
I mean, my problem is also something that we've discussed before, that things you think are obvious that you don't say out loud, so I don't know that you're ever thinking about them.
Right, and if I can't articulate what I think is obvious, then it's like...
Well, it's always that I bring up something later on and be like, well, I thought that was obvious, so I didn't say anything. Well, then fuck, I don't know what to say then. If it's not a reveal to you, because you think it's too obvious to be a reveal, and you're not saying it and everything that you think needs to be said.
We're gonna get to the end of it, and you're gonna be like, the conspiracy was that he was actually Park Moo the whole time, and I'm just like, yeah, we said that episode 1.
To my knowledge, of all the bits of meta plot, you have not said the one that I pay the most attention to at all. But I will say that you have at least said, and I have not confirmed it, so you should have no idea what it is. But you have said one of the biggest things already.
That's good. I'm on to it.
One of the biggest things. I don't know how actually big it is. It is a reveal. And
I'm coming along to your line of thinking. It's just gotta pop at some point, right?
Again, it's not one that I particularly cared that much about, even when it does get revealed. But I mean, it is an interesting point. Then you've, I think, uncovered it already. You just haven't like solidified it as a thing because you say it like once every couple of episodes and haven't nailed it down as being true or not.
All right. So I'm just kind of scanning around the episode for imagery here, and I'm coming back to the clock. Does 5 o'clock mean anything other than closing time?
Well, the song closing time doesn't take place at 5 o'clock, so...
you don't have to go home, but you can stay here.
You can't stay here, in fact, and that takes place at night. I don't know many time zones where 5 o'clock is nighttime.
Right, this isn't quite the show to, like, quote music or anything, but,
Also, I don't know if closing time was out in 2002.
Right.
So especially in Japan.
It may have. Japan? I don't know, but it may have. I can only think right now, maybe with our clock metaphor that's going on. Does something important happen at 5 o'clock to somebody in these universes? Is that like when the bomb went off? They didn't mention a time last episode, I don't think.
Now you got me questioning. There's one thing I could possibly think of, but no, I don't think that's right either. To my memory, and if this is something I've forgotten, then please, commenters, let me know. But I don't think so. At least not important enough that even in my memory of the show and the things that I've held important did not ring true to me.
The only other thing from like the same scene too, I can maybe pull off is like you were talking about like the Christian imagery on the wall. So it's a angel in a pink robe handing over like a rose or indeterminate flower to someone in a yellow dress on the ground praying. And I don't know what the scenery is. It's like worked stone and maybe like a lamp pole with like a very intricate thing on it. It just looks like art. It doesn't look like anything. It could be anywhere. It's just a building and a lamppost, right? If I were to go ahead and go into conspiracy mode and say, Yellow Girl here is Mishima in some way and is being bestowed something by the Moo, maybe.
I really like the level of investigation you're going on with here, and I didn't think about it, but there were certain aspects of what you just said that started really ringing true to me, and then you went off on a tangent again. Or I'm calling it a tangent because you don't understand that it is a tangent.
Right, I don't know where I'm going with.
Yeah. So there's aspects of that that started ringing true before you skewed off in the wrong direction. But I honestly didn't even think about it during the scene. I called out, hey, it's a lot of Christian imagery back there, not because I was giving you a clue, but because I thought, wow, just wouldn't expect to see a lot of Christian imagery on a back of...
Well, our intro has like a whole bunch of crosses in hell. We're gonna talk about it at some point, I think. I think they've even sung like a hymn at some point.
You keep saying...
Or maybe that's just bad memory.
You keep saying crosses in hell, and I'm not sure you're not watching Evangelion, because I don't see it.
You must just be blanking out of it when I'm not blanking out of it.
No, I've seen the opening a lot. I think you just think hell is a weirdly place on Earth or something.
Hell is a lot of clocks.
I mean, I want to hear a clarification statement. Were you saying, like, post-apocalypse ruins every time we look at the pyramid?
No, I was talking about the world filled with crosses.
No, that comes after. You mentioned a post-apocalypse scene early on in the intro And the only thing I saw that could even mimic that was the ruins of a pyramid.
I'd have to go hunt it down again.
Because it wasn't until later in the intro that you start saying hell and crap, which I assume is where the screen turns red and we're looking at, like, devastated scene of a ground or something. But you mentioned, like, a post-apocalypse thing earlier in the intro.
Yeah.
And that's what I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm only meaning to clarify there because if you were referring to the messed up pyramid thing, we've seen that in the show. It's like right around where the base is. It's not like a post-apocalypse. It's just something that exists out where their military base is. It's like a ruin of something.
I'll try to inform you the second it happens next time. But I
Yeah,
got
a month
one
from
more
now, sure.
possibility here to talk about, right? So, when Ayato goes and knocks over his shelf and knocks all the art books onto the ground, all of the art books are blank. I initially took that as, oh, the Dolom doing an impression about the world isn't perfect and, like, doesn't do every detail. It's doing a whole bunch of random abstract things. It just put the books there. What if Ayato doesn't know how to actually draw? And I know, you're thinking, we've seen him draw all the time, right? That's his main deal. He carries it around, like, to the beach and stuff. But he sometimes just drifts out and he keeps drawing the same damn thing. He doesn't know how to draw. He's just getting mental impressions from Mishima.
I guess first thing off is that neither of us are good at the whole I know what you're thinking thing. Because I'll tell you, my first thought was, how do we know all of those books were art books? Just because only one of them was face up and said art book. The other ones could have just been regular books. It'd be really weird if your whole bookshelf is nothing but art books. You'd think some of them might be about the history of art, or how to draw very well, you know? Some of them might be instructional. Anyway.
Right. All of them are blank.
We've had conversations in the past before where I've described the whole thing about not being able to read in dreams.
Yeah, that's also a distinct possibility.
I think I brought that up like the last time we were recording. I don't remember what for. If it was like Full Metal Alchemist or if it was just one of those tangential conversations we have.
Could always be. So there's a lot of possibilities there, but I mean, I'm going to put our increasingly comically oversized spin into that one. Maybe the art isn't in him at all.
I will say, if you don't have any further thoughts, that you still haven't latched on to what I find to be the most important bits. And I think I've given a fairly big hint about the shit that I care about.
And I'm just too dumb to find it, so I say, let's go ahead and wrap it up unless you have a thought you want to go ahead and say here to me.
I mean, no. It's more about trying to guide you down the path without letting you know anything at all.
Right. So in that case, this has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?